So we are going to talk about how the elephant came about.
Okay.
Okay.
So do you want to start?
Are we starting now?
Well, the camera's on.
Well, then we should start now then.
We'll start whenever we begin.
Okay, wherever we begin. But when I was...
Is that an elephant not being able to start? It's like I fear of flying, fear of elephant?
Yeah, fear of elephants, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So what I was thinking was, as I scratch my head because I feel nervous, and no one's here watching us except us, was that when I wrote the piece about peanut butter, jelly, and crackers,
Yes.
and I thought, because that my idea what that one was, give some idea about how this all came about. So I don't.
Well, I know. I was there, but I don't... They need to know.
Yes, they need to know. Yes. So
Right. So George said, Fab, I got this math thing. It's making my hair hurt. All things being relative. Can you give me a hand? And he came down to Naples, about an hour journey, just for the explicit reason of having his math problems fixed. And then,
Fabio said, "We should write a book."
yeah.
And before the book, of course, we have to have stuff that will help people understand what's in the book. And so we hemmed and hawed, and I said, oh, well, I thought in my mind, oh, well, this isn't really what I wanted, actually. But what's happened since then is the website has been created, and we have developed something that people, we believe, will benefit from. But I'll just keep on talking. I'll be right back.
You know, the thing is that it was all about a survey.
It was more than a survey. No. It was more than just about a survey. That was one of the places we started, because that way people could get an accurate
It
idea
was,
of
how do we value people's responses? And then the question was, the responses to what? And then from the what came the need. And from the need, we decided that there was a big need. And the elephant was born in an effort to address that need. I think the one thing we agreed on is that the need is far greater than what's being given as far as a cure is concerned.
And the idea is, amongst all the different ideas we have, is each of us have strengths, and each of us have weaknesses. And we, I believe, call the weaknesses elephants. But the idea is not to say, oh my God, I got a weakness. That's not the issue. Because within the weakness is a strength.
Absolutely.
And within the strength is a weakness.
Not to quote any particular philosopher, but there can be no strength without weakness.
Yes, it's balance. So another part of the story here is, there was a napkin that was an integral part of the story. So if you can imagine, here's just this little corner of this napkin. Now, if you unwrap the napkin, if you were to look at just this little tiny corner here, just this little corner here, and this is another part of the story, that there is a huge number of people, if this represents all people, this little corner represents people who, all people have elephants, but this little corner represents people who, for some, whatever reason, don't get connected to things where they can go elephant hunting.
Right.
They end up with something like that, and they don't really know, you know, how they maybe they don't even know that they exist here, because maybe people here in all this section have more resources. Who knows? It's hard to say, but the idea was that to concentrate on this little corner of folks who don't need to go see a Sigmund Freud type person, don't need to be in group therapy, but have that internal itch. I want to be more.
Right. And then from my perspective of the same napkin, because I'm the mathematician, so I count better. I count that there are 16 squares in the napkin. And George and I both agreed that more than half of the people in the universe have elephants. Elephants of all kinds. And of those people that have elephants, which would be approximately 8 of these squares, these are all the people in the universe that have elephants. This one little square are the people that are actually getting what we would refer to as professional help. And these other 7 get no help at all, for various reasons. 1, they may not need professional help. 2, it may not be available to them. We wanted to address these other 7 because the need was there. So that's how I saw the napkin.
So this was a part, the napkin was a part of our conversation as my idea about I can't solve this math problem because that's my big elephant. Instead, and me coming to the expert who I think fabulous, the most incredible mathematician around, that the idea was, okay, wait a minute, maybe there's something much bigger, much larger, much more universal in this, in the beginning with, hey, I can't solve this math problem, expanding it into, hey, what about all the folks, not those little folks here in this corner, what about the rest of the folks?
Right, and then the whole elephant thing was because we were bantering around the 600-pound gorilla in the room, and that's a common phrase out there. People don't want to talk about the 600-pound gorilla in the room. We didn't like the whole gorilla thing. I guess we're just not gorilla kind of people, although we probably resemble a gorilla much more than an elephant. So we thought something a little more benign, but even a little bit bigger would be an elephant.
So an example of this, when we sat down to do what we're doing now, in the hopes that when you go to the website and you say, okay, what are these 2 characters about, you would see where this project came from and see that, amongst other things, our desire to help is out of social consciousness, goodness, whatever you want to call it, but our desire to help is not from greed or whatever else. It's to reach out and be able to say to people, hey, look, have you ever thought about the elephant? So I'll go back 50 words and I'll say, okay, now, when we sat down to do this, my elephant, my anxiety elephant, was jumping up and down and trumpeting and going all kinds of things, and it pains to feed him. And then as soon as we got to talking, I began to relax and get into the thing. So the elephant became very small. So a part of our idea is that, and the good thing about this is we see this from so many different things, but that in the beginning, first you begin to say, geez, I have this elephant in my life. And
which most people don't even recognize.
yeah, so self-awareness is one of the beginnings here. So,
or they're too scared to admit.
yes, or too ashamed, or and so so my elephant got smaller because as we get into this dialogue and I feel more comfortable with it, the idea was that, okay, supposing I was doing this and the elephant was still big and gray and making noise in the background and stuff, okay, what can I do to make that elephant smaller but not lose the strengths that he has to offer me? For, let's see, it would be like if I can make my elephant smaller, the strength would be I feel more comfortable.
Well, yeah, just general comfort, or just being in control of the elephant rather than the elephant stepping on your head.
Yeah, controlling me, yeah. So,
I mean, there's a million ways to look at it, and the elephant can be a million different things. It's not strictly about any one problem. Elephant is a problem. It is a weakness, but it can be a psychological weakness. It can be a physical weakness. It can be an addictive weakness. An elephant can be anything that inhibits the normal growth and goodness of the human spirit.